Welcome to American Dream Vacations. My name is Kendall and I'll be doing the orientation for Unit 1852. First we're going to start with our keys. First you have your forward engine key. You have two door keys that goes to the main door here. The bottom lock goes to the round one, and the top one is your deadbolt. Okay. You have this big giant one here, that's for the hood on the very front. You have two other keys here. One says 751, that's for the water fill on the other side, which I'll point out to you. And then you have 507, which goes to the TV up here. Okay? It's going to go to that one right there. This black one also opens up all the compartment doors all the way around. There's a little gold key on here. Still haven't figured out what that one opens yet, but if the rest of the keys don't work, try this one. Okay, so we'll move along. In here you have your inverter. Inverter is what's going to give, what's going to change 12 volts basically to 120. So this is what's going to make your refrigerator work. There's really no need for you to mess with any of the stuff inside here. This is just for information. Inside there's a button that you turn on and it activates this and it'll send power to that refrigerator. If you are plugged in at a campsite, then you don't need to worry about your inverter because the campsite power, the 120 power that you'll get from the campsite will be enough to keep your appliance on. Alright, other than that you have storage on the bottom. Here you have your TV, radio. You have more storage here. This is also pass-through storage, goes all the way through to the other side, so you can put fishing rods or tables, whatever it is you need. It's also plastic lined, so you can whatever you need in there. If there's little drain holes, those little black dots are in the corner. If you need to drain it, rinse it out. Make sure you don't put anything hot inside here, it will melt that. This is the back of your furnace right here. There's no need for you to access any of that. More storage. Here's your propane tank. Propane tank works simple. It's going to provide all of the propane you need for your heat, your hot water, and your stove. The status is right here. It's about half right there. Once you run out, if you run out while you're on your trip, if you need more, it's going to be at your expense. If you use it all up and you don't need any more, you feel free to bring it back empty. That's fine. This is how you turn it off. You should just go ahead and leave this on all the time. The only reason you need to turn this off is for an emergency case only. And if you did need to refill, the guy at the U-Haul station or wherever it is you're going to fill it at will take this off and he'll fill it up right here. That's pretty much it with the propane. Hydraulic fill right there. You got more storage, pass-through storage. And then on the other side in the compartment you have a little ladder. That ladder is for the rear of the coach. There's really no reason for you to be up on top of the RV unless it's for maintenance purposes only. But this is the ladder that you will use to put to attach to the other upper ladder. Please do it very gently, or you may scratch the back of the RV by putting the ladder up here. This is where you fill your gas at. Regular unleaded. This door is a little tight to open, so try not to open it up here because it's kind of hard. So you have to kind of grab it a little bit lower. It just opens, and make sure you close it nice and tight. Okay, down in there. Over here we have our electrical cable. Once we get down there, we'll talk about the electrical. But right here you have the retractable button. So the way it works is you'll hit this button and it'll start to pull and retract and roll this thing on in. Once your connection gets to about right in this area, that's where you want to stop with the button and hopefully you've run it through here so that you can shut your door. But again, when you retract it, you'll stop it about here and just go ahead and pull the rest of the cable out and just sit it in here. Okay? You have another adapter right here. This adapter will go from 30 amp to 110. So this is the one that you can plug in at the house to run all of the general appliances inside, but you cannot turn your rooftop air conditioners on while using this, or you'll trip your circuit breaker. 30 amps, 15 amps. Alright, that's it in here. Here we have our generator. Generator works pretty simple. Inside the coach there's a start-stop switch, and as well you have one built on here. Here's the stop, prime, and start. So the way it works inside, you'll find the start button, the prime button, and you'll just hold that button till that red light comes on. Now you've just primed the engine. So when you're starting it, you want to hold the start button until the generator comes all the way on. If for some reason you have had power and don't have power anymore, possibly one of your circuit breakers have tripped, and you simply need to turn it off and then turn it back on. If you're out on a long trip and you've been using your generator extensively, here's where you check your oil. Alright, it's 1540 if you need to add more. To put the cover on, find the little slot at the bottom. Just snap it in place like that. Okay, on this side, this is a little bit different than most RVs. You have a quick disconnect for your sewage. So you have this hose that comes out. This is the little plug that goes in there. Lock it in place when you're not using it, like so. You get to the campsite and you're wanting to use it. Take your hose, stick it in through the bottom. Lock in both sides, and then you're ready to go. So this side is going to go to the dump station section, obviously, and then you have a lever. It says close and open. In this position it is closed, that way it is open. If you're not quite sure, you can always look in the hole and you can see that there's a disc in there that moves. So when you get this plugged in, if this piece does not fit correctly, you have to hold it at the same time. Then you have two valves over here. You have your black valve and your gray valve. The black valve is your toilet water, or your toilet waste, and the gray valve is your sink and shower waste. So this one's going to have the soapy water in it. So you're going to want to pull your black first. Go ahead and pull that valve out. It's going to come out about 4 or 5 inches. And all that toilet waste is going to drain into your line. You're going to watch that drain out, and when it's done, you're going to close it back, and then you're going to pull and open that gray line. And that soapy water is going to clean this line out. Okay? Once you're done with that and you're confident that it's empty, you feel free to put your line away. Go ahead and take your quick disconnects off, rinse your hose off, and put it away. The rest of the stuff here, we have a water filter, you have your water pump, you have 110 volt receptacles, you have a 12 volt, your TV input, your black tank flush. So what happens is we're going to provide you with the water hose, and with the water hose you can just simply hook it up to the water connection at your campsite, thread it in there, and if you want to deep clean that toilet tank, that waste tank, you just turn it on and it showers the inside of that waste tank, and then of course you dump it all over again. So if you're gonna use this, make sure you still have this all connected. All right. Up here we have our outside shower. This comes out, the little button right there, and then you have your Anderson valve. With the Anderson valve, it's got some words in here. They're a little hard to see, but on the top it says normal. Normal is just everyday use. Everything is going to work inside. If you have it on tank, which is to the left here, that means you're going to fill up your freshwater tank. So you're going to have your hose hooked in here. You're going to turn the water on, and then you're going to turn it to tank, and it's going to start draining and start filling that tank up. When it gets full, there should be an overflow line on the bottom of the RV, and it'll start to spew out water. Once that happens, you go ahead and turn your water off, and you can turn it back to normal. Okay, if you don't turn it to normal, then you may not get any water flow inside. If you're going to go to a campsite and you want to use their water, you go ahead still. You're going to have this hooked in with the water hose that we're going to provide you, and you're going to turn this down to city. It says city right there. That's your city water connection. So therefore, you're going to bypass your tank, and you're going to go straight to all your faucets straight from the water source. Okay. Once you get done at the campsite and you're ready to move on, you take this away, put your hose away, and turn it back to normal. And here you have low point drain for hot and cold. All right. You have some more storage over there. You have a tankless water heater. This is a new type of tankless water heater. It's a Truma AquaGo. There's really not much in here for you to mess with, other than it does have a power switch. It doesn't really matter which way you point it. I'm not sure why they put a power on in two different ways, but they did. So you don't actually have to come out here to do anything. This is just for FYI. There's an off switch, so if something's not working correctly, perhaps you want to come out here and turn it from off to power back on, and just toggle it back and forth. Just kind of like resetting it. Once you get done, you close that up. In a typical rental, you would never have to open this because there's buttons inside that'll tell you exactly, or it's self-explanatory. Storage. More storage. Here we have a little bit of storage and our freshwater tank. There's a large drain right here. You can use that if you don't want to carry the water. For some reason you need to drain your tank. You just open that valve up right there and it'll dump all the water out. Then over here we have one last storage. And this is also a freshwater fill. So if you didn't want to use the one that was over there, you can simply take the water hose that we're going to provide you with, and you're going to stick it in there and just let it overflow until water starts to come out of here and or out of the little vent on the side. And this is also the one that has the 751 key on it, and it says 751 on the top right there. On both sides of your mirrors, you have side marker cameras, so when you put your blinker on, a corresponding camera would come on, and that way you can see a little bit easier what's on the sides of you while you're driving. Finally, for our electrical, we have 50 amp service. This is your 50 amp service right here. When you get to a campsite, if you plug this in, you'll be able to run both of your air conditioners and all of your appliances inside. If they say, hey, we only have 30 amp service, then you're going to use your adapter here, and you're going to use this one. This is your 30 amp service. You can run all of the appliances inside, but you can only run one air conditioner at a time. Pick one, either the front or the back, but you can only do one. If you try to do both of them, you'll trip the breaker every single time, and then you'll have problems. And remember, if you do use the other adapter, and you plug that on here, and it has the little 15 amp, like the normal outlet, you cannot run any roof air no matter where you are, because you will melt something or trip a breaker. Alright? So, that concludes the outside. Let's go inside.